Baby, if you like it, just reach out and pet it. It don't even bite. It doesn't get aggressive. It don't need your loving. It just needs your attention. That was Doja Cat, her song Attention, where she describes the paradox she's in where her livelihood and her artistry is at the mercy of people's consumption, of people's attention, what they pay attention to. So I feel like we could easily compare this to the paradox of the mind, because the mind feeds off of attention. The mind requires attention. But we're not very particular about where we get our attention from and who we give our attention to. The mind cannot determine whether or not it's receiving something good or something bad. That's for you to decide in the conscious mind. But your subconscious makes up a majority of your mind. So, what is happening when you are consuming things and giving your attention to things that don't align with what is best for you? You end up projecting a distorted mind that is incapable of being present. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Reality Podcast. It's your host, Layla, and I am here to talk about attention. I feel like no matter what we do or where we turn, something is always asking for our attention. Something is always being asked of us, and it requires our attention. Whether it's something beneficial for us or something that is trying to be sold to us, something is always requiring our immediate attention. So today, I just wanted to talk about that and what it looks like to split up your attention, what our attention spans look like, the decline of our attention spans, and how that affects us in our day-to-day, in the media we consume, and our mental health. So I hope you're also talking about adolescence, because I'm going to be touching on that a bit. If you haven't seen Adolescence, definitely go watch it. But I'll just give you a brief synopsis. It's about a 13-year-old boy who actually ex-nays a fellow classmate, a girl, in his grade because she rejects him, and it explores the depths of the manosphere and how that's polluting young men's brains and just how it's not beneficial for anybody, really. But I'm not really here to talk about that context today. I will touch on it, but not really that. I'm here to talk about adolescence as a production. So it's come to my attention that a lot of people found adolescence to be boring, which is crazy. I loved every second of it. And also, like, the first 10 minutes, you have police busting down doors, the families literally scared out of their minds. Like, there's so much going on within the first couple minutes of the series. So I don't really know how you can find it boring. And I feel like it keeps that up the whole time. But the thing is, like, it's also a very real subject, and it's things that unfortunately do happen. So something like this, I feel like, is deserving of our attention, regardless of whether or not, you thought it was entertaining. Like, I guess it's supposed to be entertainment, but it's also reflective of things that are currently happening. So I think we should be able to spare our entertainment for 2 seconds. Also, like, it's not an action movie. If you wanted something to be like cut to the chase and really, I don't know, reel you in, go watch John Wick or something. But I feel like this still wasn't even boring, in my opinion. I don't know. The show, it really just follows the process of his trial. We don't really get to see like any specific action. It's really more of like the behind the scenes stuff of the case investigation. You see the cop goes to Jamie's school, and they're just trying to put the piece together. They're trying to make the story real. And then there's like the therapy episode, and then there's like the post-scene episode with the family in mourning. And so I feel like part of the reason why maybe people found this to be boring is because it's just real life. Like, these are things that actually happen, are happening, have happened. And up until this point in this family's lives, they were a normal, boring family. This incident has blown their family structure up into proportion, and it is the center focus. It's changed the trajectory of their lives forever. So that's probably that's the biggest thing in their life right now. So you see them trying to stabilize themselves after while still going through the trial. So it's not really like, supposed to be like super exciting and thrilling. It's just real life. So to me, that begs the question, like, are we just bored of real life? Like, I don't know. Is it just the reality TV of it all that's got us confused and we've forgotten that life isn't just a bunch of like shock factor? Like, it's like something that actually is to be experienced and processed in a manner that people try their best to have a sense of normalcy, So I don't know. And to me, it also reminded me of like the second half of the movie Waves, which also follows a similar construct about, young men and their relationship with masculinity and their fathers and stuff. In the second half of Waves, we see Taylor Russell, I forget her name in the movie, but her part of the movie where she's dealing with trying to gain a sense of normalcy after her brother's actions. And you see how it's affected her and her life and how she views the world and herself and her family. And a lot of people found that part of the movie boring, but I found that to be like the most gratifying part of the movie because it reflects how your actions have consequences outside of you and how your life affects others, your decisions. And I thought it was an integral part of the film. I always love to see other POVs. I remember when Euphoria was out. I don't know if they're making that another season, but I remember when Euphoria was out, and I wanted so badly for Ruth's sister to have a special episode just so we could see things through her lens. I feel like it just offers another perspective of the character that we are the most exposed to. So it makes for a more well-rounded process. And even with adolescence, one of my favorite things about adolescence is I feel like you spend almost the same amount of time with each character as you do with Jamie in a way, just because of the way that it was shot. So adolescence was shot one take, everything was one take, which I thought was brilliant on their part because it just makes it so much more intimate and so much more real. It's like you're like really there. And the camera work, everything, all of the precision that has to go into captivating these scenes in one take is just phenomenal and so cool. So it gives that type of experience of like being in the room with them that I feel like was worth it for the context of the show and the emotions that you're experiencing along with the characters, and it forces you to like see the micro expressions and see the flaws and the discomfort and really like sit with that. Like there's no time. It forces you to take time to sit with that, because a lot of shows and movies, there's a lot of cuts and the average scene length is, I forget. I thought it's like a couple seconds. It's not that long at all. So I think maybe we're used to that in like television. And something like this where it can seem like it's dragging out because we're not getting like quick flashes and cuts and everything to people's reactions. It's like we're actually forced to be present. We're forced to be there. We can't miss a thing because the scene's gone. We moved on. I feel like the integrity behind making everything one shot was just brilliant. It forces you to like kind of see things through the director's lens as an artist of just understanding the craftsmanship and the skill that goes into making these scenes. Like it's amazing, and it forces you to like spend time with what it is that you're consuming because so often we are splicing our attention to the next thing and the next thing, the next episode, the next video, the next TikTok, that we don't actually spend any time with the thing that we just consumed, because it's gone. So in an instance where everything is filmed in one take and it's one shot, you are spending time with those characters in that setting from this angle, from this lens, and you notice the little things like the lighting, what the character is like, the micro expressions, everything. Like it just makes it feel real. And I think that's what social media and short form content is devoid of, is anything real, anything of substance, because it is so short. You know, it's like there's nothing here. There's no space for anything to be here in a 60-second video, you know? So making something that requires people to put their attention onto it and spend time being present in the media that they're consuming is not only a very hard thing to do in this day and age with our attention span, but it's something that I think is very rewarding and all around great decision. And what I find like the most concerning about people finding adolescence boring is that, you know, the episodes weren't that long. Like, they weren't like super long to the point where it's like, oh, I need a break, you know? And there was something going on in every instant of the show. So it's like, what is it saying about our attention spans? Like, can we not sit down for like an hour and dedicate this time to being present in this piece of work, you know? Because we can spend like hours on like short form content platforms like TikTok or Instagram or something, but like something like a TV show that's taken a little bit slower and forces you to actually relax. It's like, I don't think I can do this. And that's the problem. People think that they're like relaxing, scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but you're not. Like, you're dividing your attention so rapidly that your brain has no time to process what it's just consumed before it's on to the next thing. And it actually cannot even really handle that. Your brain is overwhelmed and overstimulated, and you're wondering why you're angry, or why you're not hungry, or why you're not sleeping. Your brain is tired, and your brain still has to process and download everything that it's consuming. So in ingesting all of that media and forcing it down into your nervous system all in one setting versus just taking an hour to like watch something or read a book or something, it's going to have a drastic difference on the mind. The average attention span is 47 seconds. It's gone down. It used to be more, like just barely more. Like, I think it was like 2 minutes at one point. Now the average attention span is 47 seconds. Y'all. And I don't know. I think that could be like a product of a lot of things in the world around us, because the whole new digital age, it's structured to be seen as a means of convenience for us as human beings. Like, oh no, don't waste your time going down to the store to get the milk. We can just click, hit a button, it'll be at your door. You know, stuff like that. It's marketed to be for our benefit. But who is it really benefiting if we can't take the time out to go and get some milk? If we don't have time to go run down to the store and get some milk, what else are we doing? What are we doing? Like, really? We don't gotta milk the cow, we just gotta go get the milk. So it's things like that where it's really makes you wonder, like, who is this really benefiting? Who is really gaining from us not having time to do the simple things needed to maintain our lifestyle? You know? So I really think that productivity culture, hustle culture has really did its big one with that one, where we've convinced ourselves that it is easier for us to never leave the house to get the things that we need done, or for us to never move, for us to have any work be done or do anything of meaning, because someone else can do it for you on a little screen. So now your mind is completely at the mercy of this instant gratification and this need to get things done that you don't know how to relax. Your mind is never relaxed if it is constantly consuming something. So when your attention span is split up into these bite-sized increments of dopamine and giving your attention here and something here and, oh, I have something else to do, it's only for the system's benefit. Companies and platforms are all competing for our attention. If our attention wasn't valuable, they wouldn't be banning apps over it now, would they? I don't think so. But it's not in our benefit. It has nothing to do with them actually caring about our attention span and what our attention is going towards as a community. It is because they want to control our attention. They want to benefit from having our attention to further pollute our minds and push their narrative. They are literally grinding to make sure that you are in a constant state of go, 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 always looking for more to watch, always looking for more to do, more to consume. So that way you're always looking for more work to do. You're always looking for the next task to complete. And it's masquerading as convenience in exchange for efficiency. It's literally just being another cog in the wheel. And it's really like sadistic in a way, because these companies and platforms are feeding off of our innate human desire to always want more, and our mind's desire to be in this receptive state all the time, making it perfect for us to constantly be working. Like I mentioned with like platforms like social media and stuff of that nature, you are paying to enter this space with your attention. Attention is the mind's currency. Energy flows where attention goes. You are paying the price of your attention to physically be dormant while you scroll and swipe away in exchange for the algorithm to benefit off of the data that they're either collecting to keep you locked in and feed you more things that'll keep you in the same state, or that they're just selling. They're just selling your data. It's literally their gain at your cost, and they don't even have to lift a finger. And neither are you, but what is it really worth? And I think that's where people even come in with like the frustrations about AI and ChatGPT. It's this illusion that it's more convenient for you to have a robot, artificial intelligence answer all of your questions about universes, relationships, school, grocery lists, workout routines, whatever, when in reality, these are just conversations you could be having with real people. Like, you can ask real people for advice on these topics without paying for it, unless you want to get like a therapist or something, which they deserve to be paid. Without paying for it, or without selling something. Because even if you're not paying for ChatGPT, they're taking that data and they're using it to build that portfolio to further gain intelligence. And where does that leave us? And I'm not anti-AI. Just want to get that out there. I am anti using AI willy-nilly. That's what I'm anti. So now it's like with social media and AI, it's like you're stripping yourselves of these experiences that you could have had with real people, whether that be friends, family, therapy, or teachers, classmates, anybody. These are just experiences that you are now missing out on because you are just sitting at home. And I don't know if that's because of like the lack of third spaces or what, but I guarantee you just go outside and talk to somebody, they will answer. And I'm not saying, go talk to strangers. I am saying that, actually. That's kind of what I'm saying. Use discernment, obviously. But people will just talk to you. Like, they're very fucking nice, actually. Like, at least in America. You never know who you're going to come across. And even if they're not nice, that's another experience gained. It's just like there's no world building. Like, you're just confined to your own mind. And if you don't think that AI is biased, I don't know what to tell you. Like, AI is literally consuming your data to give you the results and responses that you want to hear. And if you don't like the response it gave you the first time, you can literally hit refresh or request to talk to another AI bot that will give you the answer that eventually you're going to want to hear. So there's no sense of accountability. There's no authenticity in that, because there's no human personnel structure. And not only is AI biased to you, but it's biased to the creator that created it. So whatever worldviews that creator has is literally plaguing the system. So there's that as well. Anyways, and now it just gets to a point where people don't have the time, they don't have the energy to talk to real people, because they can just talk to their ChatGPT robot, or they can just sit at home and do nothing and be online and just do that, because talking to people requires inconveniencing you. You don't always want to have small talk, but how would you get deep conversations without the small talk? You can't just skip over and just ask the random infinite void existential dread question that you have saved up, because then you're trauma dumping. But still, it requires that time, that effort, and that attention in order to build that relationship with that person or with that hobby or experience that is going to make you more whole and well-rounded, because you've actually gone out and lived through something, even if it inconvenienced you. We have to get used to being inconvenienced. We have to get used to being bored. Why can we not do that? Like, why is it such a challenge for us to be bored and inconvenienced? Like, these are things that are just part of the human experience that are okay to experience. There's nothing wrong with not having something to do every once in a while, looking up at the ceiling. There's nothing wrong with being inconvenienced by your friends every once in a while. That's just what happens when you're interacting with people. They're not supposed to comply to your will. That's the whole point. You're two different people. But because we are so used to everything being for our convenience, it seeps into our relationships and other aspects, whether that be school. Now we're too lazy. We don't feel like doing homework. That's fine. Go put it in ChatGPT. You don't feel like cooking. That's fine. Just order some DoorDash. Like, it just seeps into all aspects of our life, truly. So I really want you to like sit down and consider, what is my attention worth? If you do not place worth on your attention, it will go anywhere and anyone will take it for free. Your attention is just being given out for free. Your attention is valuable. It is. It cannot even be, a number can't even be placed on your attention. Your attention is what makes your mind. It's what makes your reality. If your attention can be easily swayed at any point in time, so can you, and so can your life. So it is very important that you get a grasp on that and get a buckle and start to really understand what it is that you're giving up. Time, attention, energy are things that we cannot see, but are things that we spend, like moolah, that are the real currency. They are the real money. Money is just a little paper plaything that they've convinced us to place all our value on and our attention to, so that way they can feed off of our attention and our energy and our time. You need to take that back. And I think I saw a TikTok and it was talking about long-term hobbies as a form of rebellion. And that's so real. If we stop giving in to the instant gratification of it all and placing our attention on people and things that are trying to exploit our attention for their own personal gain or financial gain, where would we be? Like, let's be serious. Like, spending that time being bad at something, spending that time learning something, expanding your neural networks to not only have character development, but to develop a new skill, a new form of entertainment. So that way you don't have to rely on these short form content platforms to provide that for you with false dopamine. Because when you're done scrolling on TikTok for 4 hours, you feel like shit. Let's be honest, you do. I know you do. I know I do. So, and that's what happens. And when these things happen, then we get smarter, we get more skilled in things, and we start to question the world around us instead of being fed all this programming. And we start to see actual change happen, and art that reflects time, and hobbies that are beneficial to us in our livelihood that we can apply to spaces outside of the actual hobby itself, just because our brain has new ways of functioning and learning and adapting. So none of this is happening when you're just mindlessly scrolling. You wake up in the morning and your thumb just knows where to go. Like, that's a problem. Like, really think about it. Like, when you're getting ready to go hang out with your friends, are you guys planning on watching TikToks together? Would you pay for that experience? No, you're gonna go do an activity together. There may be some bedwriting after the activity, but nobody's gonna make time out of their busy ass schedule to just sit in somebody's house and watch TikToks all day. Like, that's, at least I'm not doing that shit. Your attention needs to be something that you'd pay for. Like, whatever it is you're giving your attention to, imagine your debit card swiping. Yeah, that's what I want you to think. every time you sit down and engage with something, I want you to hear ka-ching. You just lost something. And that's something you cannot get back, because that attention, whatever it is that you put your attention on, your brain is absorbing, and it's just filing and waiting to project it outwardly. So it's very important that we're very careful with whatever it is that we're projecting, that we're consuming, because it will just be put right back out. I really encourage everyone to just call in some mindfulness into some practice. It's something that I'm still working on too. I'm not perfect. And it's really hard to be in the society anyways, where everything is just about a like or a view or a quick dopamine hit. But we need to really engage with things in a personal, intimate level. We need to bring back devotion. Okay, everyone talks about bringing back yearning. We need to bring back devotion and dedication. Okay, I'm talking in it. I'm talking locked in on your paintbrush, on your Da Vinci-ish for 5 hours just painting. I'm talking about writing, reading, whatever it is that you love to do. It doesn't have to be anything academic or anything that you benefit off of or profit off of. Something that you genuinely love doing, and you can incorporate all 5 of your senses as a bonus if you can. And something that you're actually going to be happy that you spent time doing or put time towards and placed your energy and attention on, and you don't feel like shit afterwards because you just kind of watched your life pass you by for the last day, because that's really what it's all about. It goes back to our mental health. Nobody's proud of their screen time when they're looking at it, and nobody wants to have all of these random intrusive thoughts invade their mind and not know where they came from because they were just passively consuming all day long. We need to be actively consuming things, so that way we're not being programmed into one narrative, into one way of thinking, into a belief system that does not align with us or our values. And it essentially, it's demoralizing. I don't appreciate being programmed, and the things that we give so much attention to on social media, it's honestly ludicrous. Like, it really is. I'm about to snap for real. I'm about to crash out. Like, why are we talking about 100 men versus one gorilla? Like, do you see what we're talking about? Like, what is the conversation? Get a job. I'm sorry. I snapped. I understand the job crises as well. That's all my reason to get off of ChatGPT. Just saying. And pick up a trade. Do something that you're good at. Spend so much time doing that. You're gonna have a job for sure. Okay. So I've kind of been yakking about that for some time. So let me actually give you some tips that I find to be quite helpful with mindfulness and bringing your attention back, starving yourself of that stimulation, regulating your nervous system, all that. Yeah. Okay. Long-term hobbies. Go learn something hard. Okay. Right now, my current long-term hobby is the keyboard. It's very long-term. It takes forever to learn a song. I haven't even started music theory. It's something that is ancient. Anything involving music is ancient, so there's so much to learn from it. But I could spend like 2 hours working on like 3/4 of a song and feel great. You don't necessarily have to profit off of it. I'm not trying to be, a famous pianist or anything. It's just something that I find challenging and I enjoy doing. And your mind loves challenge. Your mind is like a Rubik's Cube. It needs that challenge. Actually, do that too. Go solve a Rubik's Cube. Okay. Don't go on your phone for at least an hour after you wake up. Just don't do it. Don't start your day off like that. Don't do it. like not only the light pollution, but also, like I said, the immediate, like you're, that's just not right, okay? And that includes music. Honestly, that was hard for me. When I used to wake up and immediately turn on some music, but give your mind a second to not only catch up with everything that is just consumed yesterday, but also the time to have original thoughts and to actually think for itself. At least an hour. At least an hour. Give your mind time to go without programming. Just at least an hour as soon as you wake up. That's what's most important. Because like you just woke up. That's when your mind is like a sponge, and it's very easy for it to just not only get hooked onto whatever it starts doing, but it's going to soak up information the most, like when you wake up and when you go to bed. So give yourself at least an hour to be clear-headed and not take anything in. Okay, taking an active approach to becoming more present. So this could look like doing things that force you to engage your senses, eating without watching TV, exercising with no music, reading, things that require your imagination, things that you can touch, whatever that looks like for you. I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like for me. But just even meditating, like just taking that time to really engage with yourself, look inward, doing some yoga, getting in touch with your body, things that just force you to slow down. Stop multitasking, devote yourself to doing one task at a time. As I mentioned earlier, multitasking is a scam. It actually raises your cortisol levels and your blood pressure. So let's avoid that stroke, and let's just relax and do one thing at a time. Take the time to be fully present with everything that you're doing, fully intentional with each thing that it is that you're doing. Not only will it turn out better, but you'll feel a lot less overwhelmed while doing things. Take breaks while doing things that require attention. So a lot of this, a lot of the reason why we even do all this multitasking and hustling and grinding is because we don't get real rest. In the line of hustle culture, we are convinced that rest is something that needs to be earned. It is something that you have to take time out to do. But it actually is something that is very inherent in human nature. We were aristocrats at one point, okay? Like, let's get this straight. Rest is not something that should be punished. Rest is something that should be rewarded. We should rest more often. And when you are doing things that require diligent time and effort, you should definitely be taking breaks and letting your mind rest completely. And starving your brain of stimulus, external stimulation, that can include music, short form content, long form content, even TV, even books. I think people go as far as to say no books. Start off small and be real with yourself. Okay, don't just cold turkey everything. Cut things out slowly, or just limit yourself to, certain amounts of time dedicated to, brain rotting. Because I mean, it is fun, it's fun, but we have to think about the mind as a muscle and as something that we have control of. A lot of people will let their thoughts that aren't even really their thoughts control them and what they do, when in reality, your mind is very neutral. Only you can decide consciously what it is that you want out of your life and out of your mind. And it's up to you to dilute your mind of all of the bullshit that you feed into it and make something of that, and force your mind to do things that it's uncomfortable that doing. It's not that something is hard, it's just new, it's just different. And trust me, your mind likes the challenge. Like, that's the thing about this whole convenience thing. We are being convinced that our mind wants things easy. No, it doesn't. Physiologically, our brain benefits from doing hard things, from doing things that we don't want to do. Doing things that challenge us is how we expand our mind mentally and physiologically. Like, trust, there are dormant spaces of your mind just waiting to be activated the minute you start picking up something that is hard for you. So, yeah, do the hard things. I guess I'll just leave you guys with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I don't have a tea quote. I'm sorry, this is terrible. I've got to get better at this. I will have one for you next week, 100%. I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant. Not trying to attack anybody. I'm just saying, maybe I'm just trying to, bring some awareness on the things that I think are important and deserve attention. And maybe we should be a little bit more picky with our attention because it is very valuable and highly esteemed. And the things you can achieve when you place your attention on them is entirely up to you. And I think people know that and they are benefiting off of that fact and exploiting you for it. So stop letting other people control your mind and use their mind for their own sick personal gain, and start taking control of the things that you believe and consume, and see how much happier you'll be. So yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.